Hello, I am Chase, your host on Chase the Sun. This is the first episode of Chase the Sun. Welcome. This is a pilot episode, and I hope you love everything that I have to say. Even if you don't, I hope that you learn something from hearing what I have to say right now, today, on Chase the Sun. To start off with, I want to mention that this is the first ever episode, and I would love it if you give a share, make sure your friends know about it, and just help us out, share it. If you think your friends will enjoy the show, go ahead, give it a share, put it on your Facebook, and so on and so forth. Later on, we'll be talking about absolute truth, why it is important, what is it, and why you have nothing to stand on when you don't have absolute truth of Christ in your life. But first, welcome yet again to Chase the Sun. We'll talk about culture, life, modern Christianity, and truth above all, and we'll also have fun. And I hope that I'm able to present this well to you, that you will get the ideas of truth, the ideas of Christ, and the ideas of Christianity moving forward in the vision of Christ. So how's your Monday so far? Mondays, they can either be really terrible or really terrible. So that's one reason why I chose to do my show on Monday, because I just thought people kind of need a bit of a jump start, a mental jump start, just get moving and just think about something else, because Monday can be a tough day, especially after you've had all that fun and praising on Sunday, and then all the video game playing on Saturday. That's typically how it works for me and my friends, but also another reason is it just fits in my schedule, because Monday, it's an awesome day, and it's when I am able to come in front of the mic and tell you about culture, life, modern Christianity, and truth, and have fun while doing it. Before we get into the discussion of truth, I want to remind you something that I actually forgot until my computer started beeping at me and lining up 3 notifications in my calendar about that today is some holiday called President's Day. I really kind of forgot about it, and I really don't get why we have to have Abe Lincoln's Day and Washington Day and all the different days for different presidents, and then we have President's Day for all the ones that got left out, all the ones that only spent a few months in office, all the ones that did like nothing while they were in office or didn't fight a war. It's basically just bring those guys into the picture just so we remember them and, feel like that every president is appreciated. Wow. In the public's eye, not every president is appreciated, but we can at least try to appreciate some of them. So, I decided to get a few facts off the web, of course, about some of the different presidents, and give you my perception of them. And first, let's start with our first president, George Washington. George Washington, the general, the soldier, the entrepreneur, and eventually the leader, the first leader of our country. And while he only vetoed 2 bills, and I don't know how much legislation he actually did or governing, but I can tell you one thing, he definitely played a role in not just leading the American rebel forces to victory, but also to forming our current set of government and at least influencing a lot of our ideals. So here's something I found very interesting, got off the web, is that his net worth is $525 million. That is a lot. And I assume that is in current, in compensating for inflation and all that. It's probably current rates and value of money, but it's pretty amazing that our first president was worth $525 million. I mean, that is a lot. I think from what I could tell, there really wasn't many who came close to that amount later. And I think it's pretty big deal that president would be so rich. It's interesting to think that basically these were people who were pretty successful. I mean, they had their ups and downs, their scandals, misgivings, and public opinion polls dropping to very low numbers, but these still were successful guys. Just to get in the president's seat means that you have to be at least somewhat successful. I mean, you won the election. That's a good start. Or your predecessor kicked the bucket and you took their place, but that is a whole nother story. So, Washington was also the only U.S. president to receive 100% of the Electoral College vote. He was 57 when he was inaugurated. The U.S. population at the time was 3,929,000. And he was, of course, military general and a farmer. And, by the way, I'm getting this information off of a special United States president's online kind of database or display on Fox News, so just to credit them. And altogether, Washington, he wasn't a terrible guy as far as I could tell. He was, I'm sure, like every president, he had his failings and his quirks, but he's our first president and deserves respect. And he's definitely influenced the country, at least morally and in the sense of morale. In the next president I want to focus on, one that people don't exactly think about immediately, and I'm not sure how many people even know, is Grover Cleveland. Now, the main reason I chose him, because I mainly like him because his name is Cleveland, and I live in Cleveland. And I just thought that Grover Cleveland was also an interesting president. Being a rather young guy for the presidency, especially with, he was only 47 when inaugurated. And I think he was one of the only presidents to get married while in office. He's a fascinating character, his politics and his social life as well. And another interesting thing to note about Grover Cleveland is he is the only U.S. president to serve two terms non-consecutively. That means he got elected once, then he got kicked out by an opposing person, then he got re-elected after that other person got knocked out of office. So that is fascinating, and it's pretty amazing that he was able to make such a comeback. I will have to eventually look more into the story of exactly how he was able to come back so well, just come right in. And again, to show that a lot of the presidents are very successful people. And Grover Cleveland was actually worth $25 million. And, of course, he was a lawyer, like a lot of presidents. He's from New Jersey. I actually didn't know that. And he was Presbyterian. And he was only 47 when inaugurated, as I mentioned. And wow, that's a lot. He vetoed 414 times. That's makes the two that Washington did look like nothing. The U.S. population, 56,658,000. And the national debt is a very, very large number that I won't even bother reading. And another president that has been quickly lost in the pages of history is William McKinley. The main reason is because he didn't really live very long to do very much. But he was the first president to ride in a car. That is a very interesting fact, that basically he was the first guy to ride into a car. I don't know which car it was. I assume it was a Model T, because those were all the rage at the time, as far as I know. And he he was actually the alma mater of Allegheny College. He's from Ohio, again, my home state as well. He was a lawyer like everyone else. He's a Methodist, which is something that I don't see very often. And the interesting thing to know, he's only worth $1 million. I theorize it might be because he may not have gotten his president's salary by the time he died. I don't know how that works out, but that could be part of it, and possibly if he had lived longer, he may have made some wise investment choices and had a lot more money when he left the office. But hey, and he was 54 at inauguration and vetoed 42 times. How often do presidents veto? And last but not least on our little Spotlight the President was Dwight D. Eisenhower, the hero of World War II and almost the face of the win against the Axis forces. And he's also the first president of all 50 states. So I believe that he acquired Hawaii during his term. I'm not sure if I think Alaska was before him, as far as I know. But yeah, he was the first president of all 50 states. Something to think about, that you think that something has been around for a very long time. You think about, A, America as a country is not very old. I mean, it's only a few hundred years. And B, we have only had all 50 states for probably, I don't know, 100 years. No, not 100, 50 years. 70 years? Yeah, probably about 70 years. Or 50 years. And just, it's interesting how quickly things can change. So many things change so quickly, and you just look at history, you read through the books, and you see how America, unlike a lot of other reigns, regimes, dynasties, changes very, very quickly. Like, for example, some Chinese dynasties will last thousands of years before getting turned over, having any change in governing or government. Or, for example, if you look at, say, if you look at the Roman Empire, you can see how they remained constant for quite some time, especially during the time of Christ. They would, replace their Caesars, but they're still the Roman Empire. They grew and all that. But the different changes that happen in America so quickly, whether it be major laws, civil rights, adding states to the country, wars, the change in policy, and things can change so fast in America. And it's just an amazing thing to look at and study when you look at history and just see how history can change quickly, just on a dime. It can just change. Like, something seems to be fine, like the economy is fine, then all of a sudden it just all changes and it's just done. And that's the study of history. Why I think it's very important to study history, see how it can be interpreted, how you can learn from it, and just know that it's a cycle. It's all controlled by God, but there is a bit of a cycle to it, and history does not remain great for very long. And I think that's something we need to be we need to be thinking about, is that as long as Christianity lasts, we don't remain constant based on the truth of Christ. But history shows that cultures and civilizations and countries don't last forever. As great as they may seem today, great as they may seem tomorrow, or even for the next century, they will not last forever. And whole world orders, whole empires have fallen when 10 years before that, they thought that they were the biggest thing, that they were impenetrable, they were without reproach, they would be perfectly fine. And it's something that we need to be careful about placing our faith and belief in a culture or a country is that it won't last forever. Things will go away. But truth will not go away. So now, in the emphasis of truth, the discussion of truth. Well, truth, according to the Lexham Bible Dictionary, definition is factuality, faithfulness, firmness, reality, and reliability are words that can be describing truth. And first one is factuality. Think about it. Truth, there's no fact in truth, and it ain't truth. Because truth is based off of the facts, whether you know it or not. Truth remains constant. If you don't know that a train is going down this track right at the very moment, but someone watching you has seen that train on camera a few miles down, that doesn't mean the train isn't coming just because you don't know that fact. You don't know the fact that the train's coming. But it's still true because it's a fact. It's a fact whether it is observed by you or someone else, it's still going to remain a fact. The truth is the truth, whether it is observed or not. And then faithfulness is another thing you describe truth in this dictionary. And faithfulness, if you think about it, truth remains truth. It is faithful. It does not leave the idea of truth to become something else. Truth doesn't suddenly say, okay, I'm tired of being truth. I'm going to go be a lie or a half-truth. Or I'm going to go and suddenly the truths of the world have changed. The truths of life have changed. No. It is faithful and, the next one, firm to being truth. That's what truth is. Truth doesn't change because it does not have the autonomy and the idea that basically reality cannot change. That's the next one. Reality is truth. Truth is based on reality because reality needs truth to stand and truth needs reality to stand. Because if truth is not real, then it's not truth. But then if reality has no truth to it, it's not reality. That's why it's important to have a reality based on truth. And then we have reliability. Again, just like faithfulness, truth is reliable. Truth will remain truth. Truth will remain true. As long as that truth is true, it's true. Okay, that's a lot of truths there, but basically, you can rely on truth. Because truth is faithful, firm, grounded in reality and factuality, that is why truth can always be relied on. Because it's truth. It's true. That is the beauty in truth. It is reliable. And it is true and constant. Here's another thing. Okay, truth. It sounds cool. Truth. Yeah, some truth now and then. Have some just truths put on my Facebook wall or some truth from Instagram. But is truth really all that important to just daily living? Well, if you say no, I'm disappointed in you. Because I believe truth is important for life. Just to live. I'm not saying not just to go and be nice to people. I'm saying it's just necessary for life. Without truth, without the knowledge of truth, without knowing truth, people go whack. It's just, people go crazy. I mean, you look in the headlines today. You look at the different secular movements today. You can just see how whack people can go when it's just, okay, your truth is your truth, my truth is my truth. Or, you gotta respect my truth because my truth is better than your truth. Or just, there's no truth at all, there's no meaning in life, so I'm just going to, sit here and write philosophy books. That is just, it is just really sad. That's just the best word I could think of it. Sad when you deny truth just because the purpose that truth doesn't like me, or I don't like truth. That's why you would deny truth. Just because you don't like truth at the moment, or truth doesn't like you, you don't like, it doesn't fit your motive, it doesn't fit your comfortable zone, or your ideas of enjoyment. So, you create your own truth. Which, by the way, any truth that is not made by God, grounded in reality, created from the beginning of existence, it's not truth. It's a lie. Pure and simple. Truth cannot be created by man. Truth can only be observed by man, and man can act on that truth. Any truth that's created by a philosopher, politician, a mom, a dad, or someone sitting behind a microphone, it's not really truth unless it is grounded in absolute truth, created by God, given to man through the knowledge of the Bible, through the Holy Spirit. Other than that, truth cannot be found anywhere else. You will not find truth in the Quran. You will not find truth on a mountaintop with some spiritual advisor. You will not find truth in yoga. You will not find truth in a candle, incense, temple, church building, spiritual leader, pastor, any of that. You will only find truth that is given through the Bible to you or someone else who is willing to say it. That is truth. And truth will remain true to being truth. The truth of God. Here are some examples of truth who have been, I think, a little bit ignored in our society and have caused some slightly disastrous results. The examples of absolute truth. Here are some of them which I believe, if you are a Christian, are undeniably absolutely true, grounded in the Word of God and the movement of the Holy Spirit. Number 1, we are created. This truth, I think, would be egregious to deny. If you believe that you are not created by God, divinely created, personally created, it's not just as a result of some DNA strung together. You were created by God for a purpose, for a reason, and you were created by Him out of love. And I think if you deny that anyone is not created by God, if you deny that God did not create the world, the earth, and everything around us, I don't know how you can call Him God. If He didn't create the world in 7 days, if He didn't create the world by His word and with His hands, what's the point of Him being God if He didn't create everything? Doesn't make any sense. He did it straightforward and simple. That is an absolute truth which cannot, should not, and will not be denied. It is as simple as that. And it will not sit right, because once you deny you're not created, you say God has no control over you, the events of the world, or any living being, so He cannot tell you what to do, what not to do, and He also has no power in your life to save you. It is just one truth, pulling that one little Jenga block out, that one truth that we are created. It topples the whole tower of human philosophy, human thought, and just reality. Because when you deny that, you are denying that God is divine and He is our creator. Now, this next one is kind of building on the we are created, because it is really very similar in a lot of ways. It's the idea that we are made in His image. And I will stress this. Once you say we are not created, you're saying we are not made in his image. You're saying that we're not special, that we are not created, we are not made in his image to be a special, an important part of his creation, one that we have free will, we have the ability to have dominion over his creation, and we have the ability to believe in God and to share his message. When you deny that we are not made in his image, that means that we are dead. It is as simple as that. If we're not made in his image, then there's no truth to life, because then that makes us just like a tree, a twig, the dirt. Let's just say we're just created just like the birds, the tree, and all that. We are not made in his image. We're just humans. We walk about, we eat, sleep, and, have families. But no, we're made in his image. We are made specially. We are just a little lower than the angels. Or we are special. We are not the angels. We are something different. Something that has the free will to create, to build, to destroy, to change, to mold, to guide, to make wrongs, to correct those wrongs, to avenge, revenge. This is because we are made in his image. We have been corrupted. There is no instance of death or sin if we are not made in his image. If we are just, again, just like animals, just walk around, we do what we do, then that means that there would be no sin. I mean, animals don't sin. That means that there'd be no such thing as sin. That's why it is important that we hold on to the truth that we are made in his image. Each life is important. Each life deserves sanctity. Each life has the potential to create, to destroy, to hurt, to love. All of that embodied in the idea that we are made in the image of God. We can have our disagreements, but the truth still stands. That's why I just want to warn you. Yes, there can be variances of opinion within Christ's body, political belief, small extra biblical traditions, but you got to be careful. If these traditions start stepping on these truths of God, not just these, but others, then you are treading on very dangerous ground. If your political views, your beliefs, any of that, start stepping on or ignoring or destroying or bypassing basic truths of God displayed in the Bible and given to us through the inspiration of the Holy Spirit, there is no opinion that will trump this truth. And I believe disagreement and discourse are useful. But once you start destroying truth, you're letting the devil in. You're giving him a chance to trip you. You let one truth slip. If you let just one truth, like, okay, God didn't create us, we evolved or something. Once you let that truth slip, then once we're just some evolved thing, we come together, then what's the point of us being special and creating our lives? What's the point of life? Why would people be alive? We're just some random thing. And then if death already existed, that means that we evolved out of death, meaning that death is normal. It's a slippery slope. You got to just focus on the truths of God. Do not ignore them. No matter what you feel might be important, more compassionate, or anything that you feel like is better, stand on those truths. Because without those truths, we're in trouble. And just want to thank you so much for tuning in to Chase the Sun, Episode 1. Tune in next week, Monday at 12. Goodbye, and also be sure to listen to Amplifier for JC live at a new time, Friday at 9 o'clock. And then shortly after, at 10 o'clock, the Gospel EDM show. Continue listening to Amplifier for JC live for 24/7 music and music. Thank you for listening. I'm Chase. God bless. Let Jesus equal your guide.